Hi, I'm Haley Rogers. I'm an author, university student, and an aspiring entrepreneur. I am ultimately dedicated to helping you become fearlessly authentic. In this podcast, I will be sharing my own insights related to authentic living through various topics such as goal setting, mindfulness, confidence, resilience, and more. Not only will I be sharing my insights, but this podcast will have a Let's Talk series featuring those who have mastered the art of authentic living. There's so much to learn about authentic living, and it's one of the most challenging qualities to hold in a world that often strives for conventionality. However, we are on a journey together to learn how we can do just that. Are you ready? Hello everyone, welcome back to the See Me Show. On this week's episode, we are going to talk about overcoming the fear of judgment. This is probably the biggest thing I have struggled with. I've made the mistake of putting someone else's judgment in front of my priorities. However, what I've recently realized is that no matter what I do, I will be judged. Judgment is simply someone else's perspective of you. One's judgment of you can be good, and it can also be not so good. Coming to terms with this fact that I will be judged no matter what I do has made me realize how irrational this fear is. However, what we really fear is the bad judgment. We fear that what we say or do can't be perceived by someone else in a negative light, despite our good intentions or incredible impact. As a result, we hold back from pursuing our goals and dreams out of this fear. One of two things happen when we fear bad judgment. First off, oftentimes we think people think of us in a negative light, even though that's not the case at all. For me, I actually had a great discussion with my cousin this weekend about how I felt in middle school. Others perceived me as this shy, nerdy girl with glasses and braces. I haven't seen most of these people since middle school, and I was curious if they thought of me in this light still. She said that those individuals see me for my accomplishments, not this narrative I'd created in my mind. I had made up this entire narrative, and oftentimes, if I run into someone I went to middle school with, I live into the narrative. I act nerdy and shy and timid, because I believe that's what they perceived me to be. Her words made me realize how much I make up in my head on a day-to-day basis. I've also realized that most people are concerned about what the world thinks of them. So really, we are all in the same boat, fearing what everyone else thinks of us, so most of us don't have the time to think of anyone else in a negative way. Realizing that the possibility of being judged in a negative way is quite slim will allow you to break free of the narrative you've constructed in your mind and actually live the way you want to live. The second thing that can happen is that someone does see you in a negative light. It breaks my heart knowing that some individuals see me in a not so positive way. I recently started getting life coached through Frame of Mind coaching, and I told my coach how afraid I am of being judged. She said to me that if they see you in a negative way, you cannot control it no matter what you do. That really got me thinking. Sometimes I do or achieve certain things for the sake of others, so that they will like and accept me. But now that my coach ripped off this bandage by saying that no matter what I do, I cannot control judgment, I'm now more focused on doing things that are intrinsically meaningful to me. Additionally, I realize that judgment is simply perspective. So if someone thinks of you in a negative light, that's a them problem and not a you problem. As hard as it sounds, don't internalize their thoughts because it's them who is living with the negativity, not you. As a recovering perfectionist, I've realized that I am inevitably going to make mistakes. I can't count the amount of mistakes I've made on all fingers. I've made mistakes and I will still make mistakes. Sometimes I get so scared that everything I've achieved will get discredited by one simple mistake. However, I've realized that A, mistakes don't define me, and B, they create incredible learning opportunities. If someone chooses to view me in a way that's about my mistakes, at the end of the day, I know my truth, I know who I am, and if someone chooses to perceive me in a way just because of one mistake, that's on them. This goes for you as well. This goes for all of us. Another thing to recognize is that negative judgment also stems from a place of insecurity. For example, say an individual demeans your grades in school. Usually the reason for this is because the person is not satisfied with their own grades. This can go for body image or competitive sports or anything really. Judgment is simply a them problem and not a you problem, unless you choose to internalize it. When I wrote my book, one of the biggest obstacles I faced during my writing journey was the fear of being judged. Sometimes when I was writing, I would limit myself because I was afraid of what readers would think of me. This was something I had experienced for the first few months of my writing journey. However, near the end of finalizing my manuscript, I realized that if I did not share everything that makes me who I am, then I'd be contradicting the main message of my book, Be Fearlessly Authentic. I realized that I need to overcome this fear and to be authentic in all aspects of my writing. I knew that there were going to be people judging my work in a negative way, whether it be the tone of my book, opinions on the topics, etc. And I have gotten negative comments on my book. But I knew in my heart that there would be more people supporting me than judging me in a negative way. Not only supporting me, but feeling my work benefited them or helped them in some way. My main goal with my book was to help one single person. I believe, based on the reviews, I have helped many. With any personal project to pursue, when this fear of judgment begins impacting your goal or just way of life, think about how many people would miss out on the value of your work or your incredible, awesome self if it was never shared with the world. Think about how many people need your help and that your actions and who you are can positively impact many. You will have more supporters and people benefited than those who do not support you. Remind yourself that any personal pursuit is a brave endeavor and that you should be proud of your accomplishment. Overall, you deserve to own who you are without shame or fear. It's important to ask yourself, is preventing one person's judgment worth the sacrifice of living an authentic life? Is preventing one person's judgment worth the sacrifice of living a life of passion, joy, and fulfillment? Is preventing one person's judgment worth the sacrifice of helping and positively impacting many people? It's important to reflect on how you think, who you associate yourself with, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and if you're putting off your dreams because of this fear. Making the choice to write your own narrative and allowing yourself to be your number one priority will allow you to slowly but surely overcome this fear. Choosing to surround yourself with people who love and accept you for who you are will also make this process so much faster so you can live the life you desire to live. You deserve to face this fear and overcome it. Are you ready? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to The See Me Show. I am so grateful and excited to be on this journey with you to embrace the magic of authentic living. It would mean the world to me if you could review and subscribe to the show. Even better, if you could screenshot this episode and share it on your Instagram story, I would be incredibly grateful. Whether you're a new listener or an active subscriber, I want you to know that you deserve to be fearlessly authentic. See you next time.